A blind hem is a technique Pfaff sewing machines do very, very well. Stitch number 15 on the Pfaff Creative 1.5 sewing machine is a blind hem for regular fabric, and stitch 16 is actually for stretch fabric. So I'm going to arrow back to 15. It does recommend foot number 3. Now we've used this foot for overcasting because it has an adjustable guide. It's got a lot of things going on, plus it uses the IDT. So you will see this is a dual purpose foot. So foot number 3 with the dual feed or IDT, look at the tension. It is reduced. And the reason for the reduction of the tension is so after you stitch it, it will allow the fabric to lay flatter when it's done. And you'll see by the hinge that we're going to create that that is a good thing. So we'll start by putting the foot on. Now the machine and this foot does not know the thickness of the fabric we're stitching on. So that means there is something that needs to be adjusted each time that you use it. So to do a blind hem, start by pressing in the hem that you'll be, the finished hem, and then work your fabric back. So you're going to work it back so you have this type of setup. So on this fold here, when the stitch jumps in, it's going to jump in and you want it to catch the smallest amount of the fold. That's like you doing that little hand stitch every so often. And then when we open it up, that's that little tick mark that you'll see. And when we open it, that's that hinge that when the tension is loosened, will allow it to lay flatter easier. So with that all set, you do find that when you pick this stitch, the needle first is on the right side. That means that we need to cycle it until the needle will come over to the left side, and we'll see where to put the guide. So as your needle comes down, I just push the needle down button, and then comes over. You see it's swinging over to the side. Lift up your presser foot, move the fabric left or right, so the needle, and you're going to have to hand turn it, so the needle will come just barely into the fold. Once the needle is in the fold, and before you put your presser foot down, move the little red marker so it is even with the fold. That way, when you set it down, all you need to do is roll the fabric right next to the little guide, and you will have a blind hem all the way down. Let's see how it looks. What we're looking for is consistency. So we want to have a consistent stitch on the side. Now, yes, we are sewing with red thread here, but what if we were sewing with cream thread? You wouldn't even see this. A little press, and that's that little hinge that will flatten out beautifully. If you wanted it to be less stitches, then all you need to do is work a little bit closer to get that needle closer to the edge of the fold for it to not take such big of a bite. Now, like I said, every fabric's different, so you always have to set it up. And I wasn't really watching, I was more talking while I was guiding. But what I did find that is when I was guiding it, I got a consistent stitch. And that truly is what you're after, is the consistency once you have everything set up. And that would technically, if those threads matched, wouldn't have showed at all.